Yes? Anything? Screen. Okay. I think I'm doing it right now. Can someone check over the phone? Boleh? Can you check the phone? Can you see everything? I seldom use this because usually I came to the before this I came to the class most of the time. So boleh? Okay. So I'm sitting most of the time for today. Yeah, I'm so sorry. Once a while I can walk because I'm leg pain. Can you check everything? I share the screen. All right, great. Okay, so this week before we start, let's watch the video. We are encouraged starting from last year lah kan. I mean last semester every week I can see an email that encourage us for interactive learning. So rather than me giving the talk and then the tutorial, so we have to get the variety of the lessons. So because of that, I want to versatile our teaching. Okay, so let's watch the video first. Anyway, the video that is the closest to the lecture notes, so I'm just sharing. But the thing here is, okay, never mind. Let me do this one by one first. Get the video. What's that? Okay, the date. Okay, the date of the history. Starting, what I'm trying to say is the date. For example, the gold standard and everything is slightly different than this. Okay, so the dates might be slightly different. For example, you can see the World War One, World War Two, gold standard, and everything. But the rest I can see quite similar. Okay, if the video is not to me that is not that serve as the purpose for this. So I'm going to add more because I'm going to add a few things. For example, it doesn't mention about the form of World Bank and everything when it was started, the introductions of IMF. So I'm going to explain later, or maybe you can watch first and see. Okay, just like 5 minutes, yeah, because it's not that I'm not that keen to explain. It's just that to me, just history. Which is usually I don't really test in the examination, but for the sake of the knowledge, so you can watch this, yeah. Okay, I stop until there. So you can see that first, okay, when we talk about the international monetary or global monetary system. So first it mentioned bimetallism, which is not part of the notes, because from that it makes between silver and also gold. And after that, okay, we started with the notes with that gold standard. So meaning to say that, okay, even though the notes start with bimetallism, however, okay, in the note it's not there, but remember, actually the gold is not the first monetary system, I mean global monetary system. Okay, historically there is a silver and gold. Okay, and after that, I mean just wrap up the thing, yeah. And then they have to abandon the gold standard due to World War I and World War II because they cannot keep up with the flow of the gold, yeah. And then after that, there is a Bretton Woods, and then it started with Bretton Woods, and also it started the International Monetary Fund (IMF), and also the creations of World Bank. So remember that. So it started from that, the Bretton Woods. Okay, and also Bretton Woods also is the introductions of the fixed, even though it started with you are still fixed to gold, but after that it getting slower to another countries. Yeah, and then after that we have floating era and also emerging era where we have like dollarization, currency board, and so on. So basically that is the history of international monetary system. Okay, so remember last week I explained about, remember about the reserve, remember about the balance of payment. Yeah, it's about we have a fixed account, reserve account, where the reserve is depending on the exchange rate system or exchange regime that is implemented by that nation. Am I right? So, and we narrowed down to two basic systems. Okay, last week, yeah. So the systems were fixed exchange rate and also floating. Okay, so I'm going to explain a little bit about these two again, and then we add a few things more. Okay, and have you done this before? Have you done? Oh yes, you did. All right. So the first one. So it's kind of revision to you, I believe. Yeah. So this one, okay. We have done our first activity just now for the video, so I just move on to this one. Okay. For this chapter, just basic. No calculation. So I think okay, we can leave early. If I think so, we can. Yeah. So what is exchange rate system or exchange rate regime? Exchange rate regime is a rule governing policy towards the exchange rate, the direction, how they want to govern the exchange rate, what is the so-called the objective they want to achieve. To achieve the stabilized economy, the influence by the exchange rate, and so on. Yeah. So this is what we call the rule governing policy towards the exchange rate, meaning that exchange rate management. Yeah. So different country, it has different system. Yeah, some country adopt dollarization, currency board, fixed exchange, and then floating. If floating, we have clean float, we have dirty float, and so on. Yeah. So as you can see here, fixed floating. So this is, this is the example, yeah, for this diagram that we have that fixed and floating. Floating, we have managed float and free float. So free float, clean float, managed float, dirty float. Yeah. So, and then we have extreme fixed and soft fixed. Yeah. So we have the extreme, for example, up to currency board and dollarization, and then this one is a standard fixed exchange and also fixed system, yeah, where it can move to the narrow band. Now, let's go to fixed exchange rate. Remember last time, what is the most significant of features under fixed exchange rate system? the intervention, isn't it? The interventions by the government to buy or sell the currency. Okay, foreign currency and domestic currency. So as you can see here, yeah. So we have system. Yeah, exchange rates are either held constant or allowed to fluctuate only within the narrow band. So the government, okay, the monetary authority, okay, already fixed, okay, they fix to the other foreign currency, and usually they fix to the stabilized, the most stabilized currency, like usually USD, Euro, yeah, and then. As you can see, how constant allowed to fluctuate with narrow band, meaning that if above that, the government need to intervene. Yeah, so government intervenes, devalues or revalues the currency depending on the objective, whether to strengthen or weaken the currency. Yeah, in the forex market, in order to keep the exchange rate close to the fixed target. So meaning to say that central bank actively buy and sell currency whenever its exchange rate, wherever the exchange rate is threatened to deviate based on their allowable bands. Yeah. So here we have this revaluation and also devaluation. So the outcome is quite similar to appreciation and depreciation. However, it depending on, I think I already explained this last week. Yeah, I believe I did. Yeah, but never mind, I explain it again. So even though the outcome, it's still the same between revaluation and devaluation, okay, versus appreciation and depreciation. First, you're able to increase the value. The second, you have the monetary authorities or the market forces is able to weaken the currency. But depending on the exchange rate system, so when we read, when you mention fixed exchange rate system, and then you mention, for example, this is the example in the examination. Let's say you want to talk about the government wants to strengthen the currency, meaning to say that they have to buy back the home currency out from the forex market. Okay, means that they buy back. So if the currencies are bought back, okay, and then you mention about they want to revaluation. Okay, instead of you mention revalue, you mention that appreciation. So I penalize, yeah, because it does not match with the type of exchange rate system. Yeah. So revaluation, a government fixed a new higher exchange rate for currency in fixed system. Yeah. So here, so the devaluation, the other way around, the government fixes a new lower, like in order to reduce the value of the currency. Okay, so revalue, re, up, D, down. Yeah, for currency in the fixed system. Moreover, yeah, it does not let the exchange rate to change in accordance to demand and supply for the currency, meaning to say that government does not allow to adjust or fluctuate or float freely. There's no freedom, not to say freedom is not the right word to mention, yeah, meaning to say that the government won't allow the currency adjust by itself. Okay, to get the value of the fundamental of that currency during that particular period. Government has to exchange, government has to intervene. Yeah, so this is what it meant, does not allow the exchange rate to change, okay, by supply and demand, because that one is for floating exchange rate system. Okay. So this one, I add this. This one I just added this because from time to time, government, okay, the monetary authorities or the government for that particular country, they change the system, the exchange rate system. So it doesn't mean that when I show you today, it doesn't mean that I use the same slide again 5 years from now, it will be the same, it might be different. Okay, so this one I checked still June before I post, so I add this because I need to check, and then I remove a few countries, yeah, because it's quite different, yeah. So example of the countries that adopt this fixed exchange rate system: Aruba, the Bahamas, Bahrain, they fixed to USD, and then there are another country, okay, Euro. Why they fixed to certain countries? Usually because of the importance of that country. Perhaps that trading partners, or maybe perhaps that more like import-export for that particular countries, and then the value of that particular exchange rate is very important to the country. Or maybe because of the tourism. Later, I'm going to explain later, okay, about why some countries they have the baskets of the currency. Sometimes because of the tourism industry as well. Yeah. Now, baskets of foreign currency. So you can see, as I mentioned, is a fixed to USD. There are a few countries, like I just name a few. You can add more if you want. So this one is just general knowledge, yeah. And then Euro, Cameroon, Denmark, Gabon, and Mali. And then Euro, okay. They don't Denmark, yeah. They have Danish krone. They have Danish krone, even though they are a European state. Denmark is located in European states, we call it, or European Union, but they don't use euro as their main currency. But they fix to. They have like opt-out concept. Okay, it's the only European country. Okay, most of the country, I mean, we have that later Euro. I managed to get one by one. I checked, so I just share with you later on. So you can see here, Denmark, they don't use Euro. They have their own currency, Danish krone. Yeah, and then for activity one, okay, we need to utilize the hours. So it came to my mind this morning. Maybe 5 minutes. I know you don't like it, but have to come on class. Okay, so activity one, we watched the video, done. Activity two, the pink color. I give you 5 minutes. Can you find the baskets of foreign currency for Fiji, Morocco, Kuwait, and Samoa? 5 minutes. They're fixed, meaning that baskets of foreign currency, they're not fixed to single currency. They're fixed to multiple currency. What are those currencies? Just Google. 5 minutes. Okay, it's considered as a hard currency. Usually the fixed too, yeah. And what about Kuwait? Do you manage that? When I checked, it mentioned that undisclosed. Am I right? Undisclosed? Yeah, they don't mention that. Yeah. Same thing with Singapore. They don't mention that. Singapore undisclosed. Before this, USD, and after that, British pound, and after that, they undisclosed. Same with Singapore. They have bilateral exchange rate system. Yeah. And then what about Morocco? Euro and USD. And then Samoa, as you can see, is quite similar to Fiji. Okay, it's just that they don't have Japanese yen. Okay, so when you read from usually you get all the information from their central bank. Okay, if you're not clear enough, okay, you check the central bank. Then mention about the exchange rate system for that particular duration. Okay, so when I check Samoa, okay, their justification is why they choose these four currencies, four baskets, these baskets of currency that consists four. They have New Zealand, excuse me, okay, New Zealand dollar, Australian dollar, USD, and Euro because they consider as a trading partners and because of they engage in the major sources of tourism, meaning that my interpretation from this is most of the tourism, foreign tourists came from these countries. Yeah. So I remember when I went to Cambodia. I mean, during last time, it was not so popular among Malaysian, and when I went there, it's very hard for me to get food. Yeah. I still remember they accept USD. Vietnam also last time they accept USD, but now of course they accept their own currency. But I went there like 8 years ago. They accept USD quite most of the major premises. So it depends on something like this. Okay. Then we have these pro and cons. Yeah. Okay. So pro and cons. So since it's fixed, meaning that you know it already, the band. Yeah, so it means that it's easy for us to so-called like to relate the advantages. Yeah, first, as you can see, as I write it here, currency risk management become easier for MNCs. Yeah, so as you can see here, perhaps that in terms of planning, yeah, so currency risk management become easier for MNC, so it's easy for them to plan ahead for the futures, okay, of their foreign transaction. Yeah, so in this case, I would say that it could convert the foreign currency or foreign currency earnings, okay, earnings into home currency without concern that so-called like foreign currency might fluctuate heavily in the future. Okay? Usually when you expect something in the future, the best condition is foreign currency is expected to appreciate. So when you convert back to domestic currency, home currency, you will get more than what you expected or when you seal the contract prior. Okay? Prior dates. So in this case, this is not the concern anymore because it fixed, provided that when the conversions of the foreign currency happened during this period as well, fixed exchange rate system. So that's what I meant here. Yeah? It could convert the foreign currency earning without the concerns of the fluctuation because you already know the band or the fixed value. Yeah. And second one, greater certainty for importers, exporters, and investors. So this one quite similar to number one, like just that number one I limit to MNCs, but here number two other than MNCs. So meaning to say that it will increase the confidence for inward investment. Okay, knowing that you already know the values because it's quite fixed, so you can estimate. It's easy for you to plan. Yeah, whether importer, exporter, or maybe investors, or maybe as an individual, investors. Yeah. So third one, provide stability in international prices. So meaning to say that there is no worry about the currency weakening. Yeah, so it can create the so-called like stabilize in the exchange rate. Yeah, so basically it narrowed down. It narrowed. Doesn't matter regardless which party that we're talking about. It will go back to the it can certainty and stabilization. That is the bottom line for the advantages, especially. Yeah, and then the insulate. I mean, like it's not insulate country from risk of currency appreciations. Yeah. So as I mentioned just now, when we fix the currency, okay, if we want to, if we expected to receive something in the future, for example, like receivable, meaning to say that foreign currency is the best fit, yeah, the foreign currency to increase its value and our home currency decrease its value. It must be the pair between home and home or domestic currency and also foreign currency. So in this case, so insulate currency from risk appreciations of the home currency especially. Okay, and inherent anti-inflationary nature of fixed prices. So meaning to say that how to explain this? It helps us to control inflation. Okay, it helps us to control inflation. Since the government or the monetary authority can buy and sell the foreign currency. For example, if they believe, okay, the foreign currency, our currency is expected, or maybe our currency is, our currency decreases during this time, okay, or increases during this time, this particular period. And then they believe that if they don't do something, if the government does not do anything, it will give effect to the inflation. Okay, and you know the inflation, the implication, the indicator, our domestic product become expensive, kan? Okay, so it will create the fluctuations for the supply, for example. Okay, it does come with bad, it does come with good, it depends on the situation. So in this case, meaning to say that the governments can control inflation by buying and selling. They have the, not to say right, since this is the exchange rate that they implement for that particular period, so meaning that they can engage by buying and selling in order to curb for inflation. Yeah. And also we have these disadvantages. The risk, okay, the risk that the government will alter or revalue or devalue of the currency. So as I mentioned earlier on, it doesn't mean that when a country adopts this exchange rate, it doesn't mean that it will fix forever. Okay, they can always change. In fact, Malaysia, okay, change. Okay, never mind. I reserve that about Malaysia later on. Yeah. So, example, even though still fixed, okay. For example, the government still chooses to use this fixed exchange rate system. They still can change the the band. Maybe before this, they stick to 4 point something against USD, but now they will adjust. So meaning to say that yes, it's still within, but it will affect your prior plan. Okay, meaning to say that they can revalue, they can devalue, meaning that they can sell and they can buy foreign currency or domestic currency lah. Okay, since they can use the reserve kan in order to stabilize the currency based on the directions that they wanted the exchange rate to be. Yeah, so meaning that there's still uncertainty, but it's quite minimal compared to floating exchange rate system. And then due to this nature, where the monetary authorities use the reserve, okay, to buy and sell the foreign currency, domestic currency, and so on, yeah, in the forex market in order to revalue and devalue, meaning to say that they need to have this large holding of reserve, okay, to engage this kind of transaction, or we call it buying and selling of the currency. Okay, so without the reserve, they cannot engage this buying and selling. They need to have large amount of reserve. Yeah, this is not the case for floating exchange rate system. And then number three, country and MNC may be more vulnerable to economic condition in other countries. So this one is like contagious to another country. Okay, for example, there is the economic situation in other country. It can spread to another country. We have a specific slide to explain about this. Later I will explain lah. Okay, for this slide is related to slide 12 and so on later. Okay, we have this specific section. And also to maintain rates may inconsistent with economic fundamentals. Yeah, so meaning to say that since country A fixed to USD, for example, yeah, and then for this one, yeah, so-called like inconsistent with economic fundamental, meaning that the changes in economic structure and trade relationship. So, for example, like USD, okay, may have different monetary policies from that country, meaning that the economic situation that currency A that fixed to USD might not align with the economic condition in the US. So in this case, since they are not aligned, so it's very hard for currency A to follow the direction of currency of USD. Yeah, especially when we talk about paid exchange rate system later, meaning that it means that they can break the exchange rate system, this type of exchange rate system. So meaning to say, number 4, the economic performance may not align with the currency that they fixed to. So meaning to say that basically they cannot follow the exchange rate for that particular currency, okay, or particular country. Now, floating exchange rate system. So I would say that it acts as currency stabilizer. Okay, it can act as the currency stabilizer. So how we define this system exchange rate? I need to stand it up a bit. Okay, exchange rates are determined solely by market forces and demand. Okay, and demand and supply without any government intervention. So meaning that is an interaction between supply and demand. They will engage and then they will alter automatically. And here, remember last week about BOP, I already shared with you, okay, how the BOP will alter back, okay, how it alter back, how it alter automatically. So it's quite similar to this. It's just that last week we talked about BOP, this one we talked about the exchange rate itself. Okay, but the bottom line is still the same. Yeah. So as you can see, this since it's I mentioned that automatic stabilizer, currency stabilizer. Okay, it is on the supply and demand, the interaction between supply and demand. And the supply and demand also, even though we consider automatically, there are many factors that contribute to this. Okay, it can contributed by interest rate, it contributed by price level, okay, and other things. So we need to say that the macroeconomic factor can influence this floating this supply and demand of this currency for this, yeah. So and what else? This intervention usually happened in response to volatility and to smooth out fluctuation in the currencies. Yeah, Monetary authorities do not use reserves. Okay, that is contrary to fixed exchange rate system. Okay, to buy back or sell their currency. Okay, so you can see just now in fixed exchange rate system, I explained about revaluation and devaluation. Okay, so same thing with this. The outcome, as I mentioned, that's still the same, but you cannot mention, for example, if you want to talk about floating exchange rate system, okay, you cannot see revaluation, revaluation for appreciation. So I'm quite particular in that. Yeah, because even though maybe it's a small thing for you, you might say that everything pun the outcome is the same. It will increase or strengthen or weaken the currency, but meaning that your understanding is not there yet. So I penalize that, yeah, but not that, not that penalize it. So depreciation, a currency falls. So this one after, yeah. Okay, a currency fall in the value of a currency due to free market forces or the market forces, yeah. Appreciation, a currency increases, yeah, in value, okay, due to the market forces. So before this, yeah, remember, you were not born yet, kan? 1998, still not. Okay, I think I did my diploma during that time. I did my diploma. Okay. So during that time, our currency was pegged to USD at 3 ringgit and 80 cents per USD. Okay, until 2005. And then after that, our currency adopted managed float that we're going to experience. And then starting from 2016, April, October, I can't remember. I think September 2016. Our currency follow free float exchange rate, or call it flexible. Okay, so meaning to say starting from currency crisis, financial crisis, they use they adopted managed float, and after that free float until now. Yeah. So next. So this one okay lah. This one is just that I just want to add in the slides, but I think it's fine. I mean the depreciation appreciation just now. Okay, so you learned this last week, even in your tutorial also. Okay, we mentioned about this. When supply is greater than demand, it will bring the downward pressure to the currency, and then eventually the exchange rate or the currency will fall. Okay, and then appreciation, when demand is greater than supply, our demand is more than supply, so it bring the upward pressure to the currency and so on. So okay lah class. Okay, so this is among the other than this one I just mentioned that demand and supply, okay, money inflow and money outflow that can influence the exchange rate. Okay, but also remember we also have interest rates, we have inflation, we have price level also that contribute the factor. But this one I just split between money in and money out that influence, yeah. But we have more. So what is hot money? Huh? What is hot money? Hot money? Thailing. Thailing. What is hot money? Where is Thai? T-A-I. Thai. Pretend not to be here then. Oh, you are the one. Okay. You know what hot money is? Yes or no? Okay, hot money, okay? Hot money is the flow of fund from one country to another country in order to get short-term profit from the differences of the interest. This is what we call hot money. For example, we see that, I mean, simple concept. Okay, I can see that investment in Malaysia can offer higher, investment, so I invest in Malaysia. But after sometimes a few months, I can see US offer better, that I go to US. So I mean that this is the rapid flow of fund, the rapid flow of fund. For in order to aim the short terms, yeah. Why too late? 1 hour late. Hello, why 1 hour late? Next time be punctual, yeah. Okay, so do week 3. So 1, 2, 3, I okay. But starting week 3, I will become your grandmother. From now on, I will nagging until you get bored. It's always like that. Okay, at the end of the semester, I'm saying, Miss, you are okay, but you nag a lot. Okay, but you bear with me. Okay, starting from now, because it's already week 3. When you late, I said late. When you late, blah blah blah. Okay. So try to be, I mean like late 50 minutes is fine lah. Because it's 3 hours lecture, I tend to start a bit late. Usually I'll be punctual. When class start at 12, I will start 12:01. Usually it's like that. But now okay lah, I can start 12:10 and everything. Okay? So you can come 50 minutes late. Okay, I don't mind. Oh, are you the one yang affected by the clash? Not also. Okay, never mind. If clash is fine. Okay, so for this one, okay, hot money is fine. Right, so this is the example lah, yeah, about the free floating, how it flows. So actually we cover this under exchange rate determination. It's the shortest chapters among all. So we're going to cover this. Okay, the chapter is exchange rate determination. Okay, so it's quite similar to this, but never mind lah. You just I got from the internet. Okay, I mean so I'm going to explain because I mean this is it's very easy lah. Yeah, free floating as you can see. So okay, let's read. Let's imagine that the US firm export rises by 60%. That the UK and that the UK is its top buyer this year. How will this impact the USD? Okay, so as you can see, I put USD as denominator. Okay, and then the British pound as numerator, and then since we want to know about the USD, the currency, so I put the quantity of the USD. Okay, if you want to know about the quantity of British pound, so the quantity of British pound, okay, and then you change between the denominator and numerator. Yeah, so I think you know it already about numerator, but we're going to explain it again next week. Okay, next week calculation, a bit exciting. Compare chapter 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so okay, the explanation to this: more US exports will be sold to the UK, obviously, because export, right? So this increase in demand for US export, and will also increase the demand for USD, since the buyer wants the American products, of course, in order to exchange for the products. And they demand the currency in order to pay for exchange for the products. This is why the demand curve shifts outwards from D1 to D2, from left to the right. Any increase must be left to the right. Any decrease must be right to the left. So that's how you draw the curve, DD and SS. Okay, so the US appreciate, as you can see, demand. So this one, is there any government intervention? No. It flowed by itself. Because of this, we talk on the exports, we talk about inflow, outflow of the currency, which can increase and decrease without government intervention. I mean, the diagram wants to show you this way. Okay, and also the pro and cons. Okay, automatic correction or adjustment of BOP, as the diagram just now, as you can see, there is no government intervention, okay, to revalue and devalue of the currency. As you can see, automatic corrections or adjustments of BOP. Yeah, so number 2, country is more insulated from economic problems in another country, meaning to say that any economic situation in other country will not get affected by our country, by our domestic country. Okay, so meaning that not contagious, it's not spread. And then number 3, okay, do not have to manage and hold huge amount of foreign currency reserve. It doesn't mean that you cannot say government do not hold any reserve. It's wrong. They still hold reserve, but not as huge or a large a reserve, okay, compared to fixed exchange rate system. Because in this type of exchange rate system or regime, government does not intervene, so meaning that they only have to have specific or sufficient reserve, but not to engage buying and selling. It's just that as a reserve, as the country reserve. That's all. Yeah. No constraint maintaining exchange rate when setting new policy. Okay, so meaning to say that government does not limit, okay, any exchange rate policy because of this automatic adjustment by the market forces. Still, okay, I don't say that no constraint at all, but it's not it's not like the highly concerned because compared to because when you do when government has to do when the government has to do the reserve, okay, to have maintained the reserve, it will affect the monetary policies and everything, okay, and so on. Yeah, and then less capital restriction, meaning that it can increase the efficiency, meaning to say that, for example, for an M&E, okay, so since it's opened, okay, even though fluctuate heavily if we compare to fixed, because fixed government intervene and government can control and monitor, but this one government don't governments do not monitor, okay, but here meaning that since there is no capital restriction, meaning that is a freedom for MNC to engage in any other transaction, so do importer exporter. Okay, so it will increase their efficiency in terms that they can implement the plan without any boundaries. Yeah, and also for cons, okay, the disadvantages: create uncertainty. Okay, create uncertainty in international markets and hard for future plan. Okay, so meaning to say that since you don't, for example, fixed exchange rate system, you know the band, you know our currency, for example, our currency fixed to USD in this band. You know the upper band and the lower band, for example, if managed float. Yeah, and then since this one, there is no boundaries, there is no upper limit, there is no lower limit, there is no currency band, we call it. So meaning that it's open to any fluctuation, any possible outcome in the future. So we need to say that since it's very uncertainty, is it easy for you as an MNC to plan for the future? In this case, no. Okay? All you can do is based on the forecast, yeah? Forecast in a multiple situation. You have to do pro forma and so on, yeah? And then subject to speculation due to no upper and lower on the currency, meaning to say the exchange rate quite volatile, meaning that it's not stable and unpredictable. Okay, so you cannot predict, isn't it? Because it's not fixed. Okay, it can be reached to the highest and then it can reach to the lowest. There is no limit in between. So it's very uncertainty. So, and again, it's very hard for you because it's quite, the volatility, and it's very unpredictable. Yeah. MNCs and investors must spend considerable resources to protect against the exchange rate fluctuation. So meaning to say that they need to take necessary measures, okay, to overcome if the situation, the economic situation happens in in scenario A. What is the outcome? What is the measures that we have or approach that we have to do? In the economic situation B, what they need to have to do. So meaning to say that they need to use more considerable resources in order to mitigate this kind of risk. Okay, for example, they need to prepare certain hedging strategies that need to implement for something happens based on the scenario. Yeah, because in this case, due to this probably high volatility or high fluctuation and unpredictability. Yeah, and also the country that initially experienced economic problems. Okay, for example, high inflation, high employment may have its problem compounded, meaning that this one internal factor, yeah, class, internal factor, but the problem compounded. I'm not talking about the contagious by other countries, but it means that, for example, Malaysia has higher inflation already, okay, but there is a possibility Malaysia might face further higher inflation. So meaning that internal factor where the problem compounded. Understand, yeah? All right. Then we have managed float exchange rate. Okay. So in order to minimize the economic uncertainty associated by the free floating, yeah. So since we know about the disadvantage, yeah, high uncertainty. So this one more like in order to so-called like to reduce this vulnerability. Yeah, vulnerability. So that's why we have third one, we have managed float. So we define this as system exchange. We define exchange rates are allowed to move freely based on forces, demand and supply. So meaning that up to this, okay, up to this, it's very similar to freely float, isn't it? Free float, flexible, with no official or boundary existing. Yeah. However, this is the difference between the clean float and this one. Yeah. However, the governments may intervene occasionally to prevent the rates from moving too much in certain direction. Okay. Allowed to float, but if it moves or deviates outside of the limit, that allowable limit, then government can intervene. The monetary authority can intervene. So meaning that this kind of hybrid is hybrid between fixed exchange rate system and freely floating exchange rate system. Free, let it influenced by the market forces, it will adjust automatically. When it's deviate, when it's deviate from the limit, so government can intervene. Yeah. So it's also known as dirty float. So the first one, as I mentioned, clean float. This one is considered as dirty float. So it lies somewhere between fixed and floating. Okay, free floating, as you can see here. The central bank would have to decide the currency bank. So what is currency bank? So as you can see, the last point. Okay, this bank specifies the upper and lower limit. We call it shilling, meaning that the upper limit, and the floor, the lower limit. Okay, who decides this? Of course, the government will decide this. Yeah. The currency can now freely float as long as it is within the narrow band. So as you can see from the diagram, yeah. So you can see from the diagram. So this one is simple, just simple explanation about the upper limit and the lower limit. Yeah, this picture, as you can see, display the upper limit positioned above the central bank and the lower limit positions below it. So you can see that. Okay, the upper and lower. So if the currency, okay, moved higher than this or lower than this, then government intervenes by buying and selling the exchange rate by using its reserve. Yeah. So this bank without government intervention, once floats, yeah, once float above or below the limit, the central bank must intervene. So you can see that the difference. Yeah. And the free float, not free float, managed float. Okay, so the pros. Okay, fluctuate in exchange rate and smoothen and bring the stability, means that since government occasionally enter the market by buy and sell the currency. Okay, so it means that it is to transition from so-called like from one to another. Okay, so government the transitions between this one and another, and also it reduced the speculative attack. So meaning to say that before this free float, yeah, free float exchange rate system, where there is no government intervention, so the value can increase to the highest and then it can decreases to the lowest. Okay, it can decrease to the lowest. So there is no, so meaning that it can give very high or huge volatility. Not to say consideration, meaning that the volatility effect or impact. Yeah. So meaning to say that, but since the government can intervene, for example, when government believe if it exceeds to the certain level where it can prompt to the speculative attack from the speculators in order to take advantage of the situation, so government can intervene by buying and selling. Okay, so meaning to say that it can reduce compared to free float just now, so government cannot intervene, so there is a high possibility for speculation activity to quite broad in terms of the speculative activities. Yeah, and also for disadvantages or cons. Yeah, uncertainty is still uncertain because it's not completely eliminated since we have this narrow, yeah, the bands. So, and also it still can float, okay, freely up to the certain level. So still, even though you can see the band, yeah, but it's still so-called like it cannot completely eliminated as compared to fixed exchange rate system. Yeah, so unclear about government tactics may be manipulated for its country benefit at the expense of another countries. So this one, it depends on the motive of the governments. Yeah, for example, this one pure motive. This one pure motive example. For example, a government may attempt to weaken its currency in order to stimulate back the economy. For example, that weaken the currency to stimulate back the exports. So this is what I call pure motive. So if pure motive, I mean that's not an issue, yeah. So in order to stimulate back the economy, to generate back the exports, yeah. So it means that, but there are certain situations where we cannot generalize the motive of the government. So meaning that it could be a manipulative motive and so on. Yeah? Oh, sorry. So this is the one. Right? And then next, back exchange rate. The home currency's value is pegged to foreign currency or to some unit of account or some unit of currency some unit of currency and move in line with currency or units against another currency. So either one currency or to another currency. You might ask, okay, what's the difference between fixed and also peg exchange system? Actually, the fundamental is still the same where you fix to the one currency or to another baskets of currency. But usually, if you read the difference, usually peg exchange rate system, usually they use it during this adverse economic situation. Okay? It means that it could be a temporary measure. Okay, it could be a temporary measure or not. Yeah. So borrow the strength and stability of the currency it is pegged to, meaning that it forces the currency, okay, to be fixed with the currency that we fix to, meaning that we borrow the strength of the currency, hoping our currency right now we follow the directions of the currency that we peg to. For example, universal currency USD, and then USD is quite stabilized and then less fluctuate. Okay, by hoping that when we peg to the currency, for example USD, we follow the direction and eventually it can improve the currency of our currency, or meaning that our domestic currency. Yeah, this is what we call force our currency to follow the direction, and at the same time also it will move together, hoping that it eventually will stabilize. Okay, the domestic currency. And then the other pro and cons, yeah, is quite similar to fixed, so I can, I mean, you can refer back to fixed exchange rate system. Okay, so this is the one that I mentioned just now. Before, I mean during Asian financial crisis, yeah. So in Malaysia, the value of ringgit was pegged to USD at the rate of 3.8 Malaysian ringgit per USD. Okay, starting from September 2nd, 1998. So this is the one of the steps for government, okay, in order to stabilize our currency, and it happens for quite some time, as you can see, from 1998 until 2005. So more than 6 years. Yeah. So okay. For example, is fine. So you can see that the purpose to mitigate the fluctuations of ringgit Malaysia and to foster a stable atmosphere that is favorable for economic recuperation. Okay. So remember, as I mentioned just now, once they abandoned this pegged exchange system, our government follow manage exchange rate system, manage floating exchange system, and then since 2016, our government have adopted manage float. Okay. Okay, dollarization. Dollarization, no floating, no fixed. Yeah. Okay, I need to stretching a bit. Okay. What time is it now? Okay, not bad. Okay, for dollarization, no fixed, no floating, but to replace 100%. For example, what is our? In Malaysia, our ringgit is our so-called our home currency. Our own currency. So let's say we eliminate ringgit Malaysia and then we use USD. So this is what we call dollarization. Totally replace. Yeah. So the use of the USD is not USD only. It could be another foreign currency. Okay. But usually USD lah. But there are a few countries that still can use euro and so on as the official currency of the country. Meaning that they eliminate their own currency, they remove their own currency, they abandon their own currency and replace with USD. Okay. Example of countries, Ecuador, I think since 2000. Okay, El Salvador, from 1993 until 2000, they paid to USD, but starting from 2001, they replace. Okay, and Zimbabwe, the latest one, April this year, class. Okay, I think maybe you can remove Zimbabwe because April 2014, they have their own currency, ZIG. You can read. Meaning this one. Okay. Dollarization means they use USD and they remove their monetary currency. But Zimbabwe, maybe you can hear, you can take note on Zimbabwe. Before this, they use USD as their own legal tender. Okay. But this one, starting from April 2024, this year, okay, they introduce their own currency. Yeah. So Turks and Caicos. Okay. I think the longest is Panama. Panama since yes, in Panama they use USD since 1903, since the independence from Colombia. Okay, they use USD until now. Yeah, and also Timor-Leste since the independence from Indonesia as well. Okay, so pro advantages, monetary and exchange rate policies no longer depends on the intelligence and disciplines of domestic policymakers. Since, for example, Ecuador, okay, they use USD as the legal tender. So we need to say that they pass the authorities to Federal Reserve, the central bank of the United States. Okay, so we need to say that they lost the autonomy for this. Okay, they lost the autonomy to or maybe say on their policies, monetary policies, and so on. Yeah. So and also remove any currency for number one. Okay, for number one, well, it depends. Well, even though I mentioned about this so-called like disadvantage compared to in this advantage section, okay. Even though it's loss of autonomy, okay, for them to have this set up their monetary policies, fiscal policies, and so on. But in terms of the East, okay, the management of the this one, yeah, the exchange rate system, they transfer that to the other authorities, which is if they use if they replace or abandon the currency and use USD, so they transfer that so-called like the intelligence and discipline to Federal Reserve. Yeah, so it depends lah in section which one you to see. In pro and cons, mean that it's simpler, okay, to conduct monetary and fiscal policy because it's not a part of their responsibility anymore. Yeah, and then remove any currency volatility against USD. So in this case, what should I say about this? Since we know that USD considered as a strong currency, is considered one of the hard currency, one of the hard currencies. So meaning that it brings or it reduces the volatility. Before this, for example, if, for example, Ecuador, yeah, they use their own currency and then their currency keep fluctuate heavily, heavily to the point it start to lose its value. Yeah, by having this USD to replace the currency, so it brings back the stability of the currency or the economy of the country. Yeah, and also we can re-establish investors' confidence, especially in the usually this one in less developed countries. Okay, since the ability, it boosts the investors because, for example, now the investors can trade by using USD, and we know that the value of the USD is quite strong. So it means that it can so-called like bring the confidence to the investors. Okay, especially in order to create back the activity in terms of international trades. Yeah. So let me see. What else? Okay, that one is fine. I done it. Okay, that is stronger and more internationally recognized, so same thing lah. Okay, but stabilized and so on. Okay, disadvantages: loss of sovereignty over monetary policy. As I mentioned just now, loss of autonomy. So advantage one and disadvantage one is so-called like quite similar. Okay, it depends on the perspective that you want to explain. Okay, in a good way. So you relieve the responsibility to the Federal Reserve if they replace with USD. But in the back, in negative sides, okay, lost the autonomy. Okay, the risk, we mean to say that the risk of allowing its monetary policy controlled by so-called like other countries, yeah, meaning that you allow the your exchange, I mean your policy controlled by other foreign country, in this case United States, yeah, and also loss of the power. What's that? Can't see. Seigniorage, okay? Seigniorage meaning that the profit from its ability to print its own money, meaning that limits the revenue. Yes, anything? Any question? No? Okay. Limit the revenue that government receive from printing the home currency. You know that the value, I mean the paper, 1 ringgit doesn't mean, they print today 1 ringgit doesn't mean that 1 ringgit still receive value in the future, kan? So from that they can get the profit by printing its own money. But in these cases, you replace the dollarization, meaning that you adopt dollarization, meaning that you replace your own currency totally with USD, meaning that you have no right, the monetary authorities has no right to print its own money and earn profit or revenue from its that printing ability. So they cannot print their own money. Okay? And also the central bank of the country can no longer serve the role of lender of last resort. What is lender of last resort, class? Kyung Yan Min. What is a lender of last resort? Do you have any idea? No? Okay, since I'm quite nice today, if not, I force you to answer. I'm quite nice. I mean today lah. Tomorrow and next week, I don't know. Maybe I'm quite harsh. Gun Su Ying. TSU, Su. I have problem pronouncing. I'm not sure. Gun Su Ying, is it? Gun? Yes. Lender of last resort. Last resort, last option. Providing funding to banks. Example like financial institution or near collapse banks. Usually government helps lah because financial institution is very strong institutions in every countries. So when the bank, for example, okay, facing difficulties, financial hardships or near collapse, usually government try the best to help. Because when the financial institutions collapse, then you know that you can see, I mean a few years back, I can't remember the country, but it's a long queue. People try to withdraw the money. I mean, before all the gadgets, now before we can withdraw and everything, you can see that it's a very huge commotion. Okay, so now, can we do that in this case? Does government have the authority? No. Because they transfer to Federal Reserve, so meaning to say, is anything happen? So no, this is not an option anymore. So meaning to say that, okay, the central bank, as you can see, the third one of the country can no longer serve the role of lender of the last resort. Yeah. Okay, currency board, I mean the example, okay lah, you can read, I mean this one is before the dollarization take place, yeah? Okay. So currency board, a very simple one, this is a simple one, yeah? So currency, a system exists when a country, central bank, commits to back its monetary base, money supply entirely Gosh. God, I can't see. Ah. Okay, better now. Okay, it backs its monetary. Let's continue. Monetary base. Okay, meaning to say money supply entirely with foreign reserve at all time. Meaning to say that currency board backs the money supply or home currency liability with foreign currency. Simple terms. I mean a simple one. Before they circulate the currency, the amount of the circulation must be backed up with foreign currency as the reserve. Must be the same amount. Okay, so this is what we call currency board. So that means is okay. The second point. That means that a unit of domestic currency cannot be introduced. Meaning that before this I mentioned here, before they circulate, okay, their currency in the markets, they have to make sure the amount of the circulation amount must be equal to the reserved, the foreign currency. They must back up with that reserve in foreign currency reserved. Yeah, cannot be introduced into the economy without additional unit. That's what I mentioned just now. Of foreign currency reserve being obtained first. Once they get the reserve, the equal amount, they can circulate the domestic currency. Yeah. Example, the country Hong Kong, Djibouti, Bermuda, Brunei, and so on. Okay. Brunei currency board equal with Sing dollar. Yeah. So objective advantages. Okay. A board can stabilize the currency's value. So meaning to say that provide transparency because the same amount. Yeah? Provide transparency and commitment to exchange rate target that is they're locking what they are looking for. I mean with the currency that they back to. Yeah. And it reduces the exchange rate risk because since they have these sorts of foreign currency reserve, so they can they become. So meaning to say that it can reduce the exchange rate risk since they have this reserve with strong currency. Yeah, and eliminate domestic inflation pressure. So better control of money supply. So disadvantages. Effective only if investors believe that it would last. Same thing with pack execution system. It's quite similar. It's based on the confidence. If investors confident that it will last, they will engage the transaction. They will engage with that currency. They will use the currency. Okay. But if they don't, meaning that it will expose the shock. Okay, from another country. Yeah, so meaning that it depends on the investors' confidence, how they believe about the perceptions about these currency bonds. Yeah, and the loss is quite similar to dollarization. The last two is quite similar. Yeah, so loss of independence of monetary and exchange rate policies because now since you back with the foreign currency, so we need to say that at the same time also you have to follow certain clause that implemented by the currencies that they back the reserve to. Yeah. So loss of central bank as lender of last resort. So it's pretty much is quite similar. So this one, should I? Okay, never mind. Okay, in 1991, Argentina established a currency board that backed to one Argentine peso. Okay, to $1 USD. Okay, in 2002, Argentina suffered from major economic problem. Before this, they backed. Okay, and after that, they're not able to pay the debt. This one is quite a huge story during that time. Okay, foreign and local investors began to transfer their funds. So this is what we call that flow. Capital, you can consider as capital flight as well. You can consider it it's not well, it depends on whether it's hot money or not. Yeah. So we need to say that investors try to save their investment to the safer location by transferring the current location to another location. It means that they take out the investment to another safer location outside of the country, meaning that we can imagine that further supply, meaning that you can consider as a capital flight outflow, okay, the rapid outflow. And also it caused the excessive, as I mentioned just now, it caused excessive supply and demand, meaning that further depreciate its currency, it reduces its value more and more. Yeah, the government could not maintain the fact and let the Argentinian peso value to float. In March, it devalued to 0.71. Okay, so they followed lah, yeah. So euro. So can we skip the history? Can we skip the history? I think it's fine now, yeah. It's just that, okay, during that time, these European countries, okay, they had something in mind where they want to have this common currency that can be used in their so-called like quote-unquote continent. And then this is what we call euro, yeah. So you can see here the unit of money use is most European Union countries. So history is fine, okay, you can read on your own, all right? And then the launch of the euro, okay, on January 4th, okay, 1999, the euro was officially launched and replaced individual countries' currencies, yeah. And don't forget, UK, they can use this one before, and then they decided in 23rd of June 2016 to leave the euro and then call it Brexit. Last time I still remember, I asked my student to do the assignment regarding to Brexit for international finance. So I still remember what is news, but never mind. We just keep that the history. And then this is the UK decided in 23rd June. Sorry, I keep repeating that. Okay, Euro member countries, meaning that the blue one is the country that used euro until today. Okay, this one up to date, yeah, I already checked. And then non, meaning that the one in the middle is considered as still located in Europe, but they don't use euro as the main currency, where they have their own currency. Bulgaria, Czechia, Hungary, Poland, Romania, and Sweden. And then remember just now about you see the fixed exchange system just now. You have Denmark, right? And then this one, member countries with an opt-out. So meaning to say, opt-out means, okay, back to euro, which is not optimal currency. Okay, the back to, but they have its own currency, Danish krone. Yeah. Now, advantages, disadvantages, I think it's quite similar, but never mind. Not too similar, I mean easy, not similar. I mean like it's easy to understand. I take a few, okay? For example, advantages of euro. Okay, it lower the transaction cost, reduce or eliminate trade barrier or tariff. Yeah. So meaning to say that since class, after this we have a break, so be patient. Let's finish this euro first. Okay, so it will reduce the transaction cost, meaning that it reduce or eliminate trade barrier or tariff. So meaning to say that since they use the common currency, they use the same currency, meaning that they eliminate all of the transaction. For example, when you convert the currency from A to B, there is a cost associated with it. Yeah, but not having this different currency, so they can lose this transaction cost. And also to eliminate currency risk again, yeah, and cost-related uncertainty, meaning that related uncertainty is lower. Okay, since for example, currency A, currency B, they use the same currency, so there is no exchange rate risk involved. Okay, but of course it comes with the limitation later on, because especially when the European country, they have different economic performance. Yeah, it can create another problems. But now since we talk about the advantages, yeah, we're talking about the advantages, so let's talk about this one. And then price transparency. For example, just now, let's say in Australia, maybe this one is €5. Okay, and then we go to, for example, and then they go to France, and then this one also €5. I mean, like maybe slightly different, okay, maybe €6, but since you have the same currency, so it's easy and it more transparent compared to if you want to use the conversions, because it fluctuates every day, because we have the closing price for every day, so it might be different. The fluctuation is quite different, but not in this case for euro. So easy to conduct, so this one is quite similar plus I think this one is not that hard to understand. They're easy to conduct and compare valuations of firms across Europe, and then encourage market opportunity for cross-border trades because less complex, okay, compared to different countries, since we engage in the same so-called like same policy, okay, monetary policy, not to say monetary policy, same exchange rate, so it's hard, it's not hard to so-called like plan. Okay, meaning that they encourage between all the countries or states in the European Union, yeah, and capital flow among EU. You mean European Union, yeah. Better protection for economic shock. Okay, this one same thing, yeah, because it's quite similar. Okay, so meaning to say the bond between the European members is quite strong, so they're helping each other in order to stabilize back the economy. So it means that help from another EU members. Okay, increase political trust and between countries. First one. Disadvantages of euro. Okay, so even though similar currencies, it means that the bond is strong. It can increase the transparency. However, remember, not all European countries, they have similar level of economic performance or economics or economic growth. They might be different from European country A and European country B. Yeah, so differences across the EU in economic performance, so it might be not aligned with the, yeah. Maybe the price, for example, the price in country A, okay, might be in €5. Okay, but another country, since economy is quite okay and everything, it means that it's not worth for euro. Maybe it must be higher than that. So it might be the price. I mean that the clashing in terms of the economics performance. Yeah, higher cost. I mean this number 2 is like initial stage. Okay, when the first they adopted this, okay, because to abandon the currency, to create the so-called like the same policies, yeah, in terms of the exchange rate or the currency. So it costs a lot, yes, of course. Okay, increased cost of adoption of EU forms, etc. But this one is for initial stage, yeah. And loss of control over domestic monetary policies, as I mentioned, is quite similar to scenarios just now, yeah. And since this one is under their own central, yeah, so meaning to say that it's under one central that monitor all the euro, the monetary policies, and so on. And decisions may not benefit to all countries. So it's quite similar to number 1 actually. Okay, when the economic level is not equal to other countries, so any decisions that lead to one outcome might not suitable to other European countries. Yeah. And then cost of living very high. You can read about Brexit. To live is very, very high. And then migration issue. This one, of course, okay. This one is just like social problems. Yeah. And then increased criminality. Yeah. And then okay. So after this one is after this is okay lah. After this, remember I already explained in the tutorial. I already explained a little bit in the lecture last week about the inflation, unemployment, so it's quite similar, so I think it's okay. But before that, for your break, before. What's that? Okay, can you go to your Microsoft Team? Go to Microsoft Team and then click to the link and go to activity 8. You take this, copy. Don't be lazy, come on. Open link. Okay, and then go to activity 8. Go to activity 8. Mana activity 8? Okay, and then you click start and then you match. You drag. So I want to know your general knowledge. Okay, you start. Okay, add this one and then you drag and then you click submit. Huh? This one tarik lah. Up here, up here, up here. It's wrong. Put it back, and then submit and check. So I want to know your general knowledge. Do you know which country use this country and so on? Baru nak check. This one 2 minutes already. Only 2 minutes. Check, taking. But I already mentioned about Sing dollar. You should know. Remember Sing dollar? After you're done, you check submit. Why? Why do you want to do it? Come on. Don't be lazy. You can check the internet, but I'm pretty sure that you have no time. But you can check lah. Actually, India is not that easy. India is easy. Hong Kong easy. Just now we have Hong Kong. Singapore, I already mentioned directly. Okay. Time's up. Okay, mine's time's up. Okay, so if you're done, we rest for 5 minutes, and then you can come back, and then we continue the rest. After this is very short because it just that quite repetitive compared to last week. Huh? If chapter 6 is. Chapter 6, not yet. So I can go up to this point. But chapter 6, definitely. Okay. Okay, come back at 2. You come back at 2, and then after that, we can finish. Okay, so just now we already learned about the fixed exchange rate system, free float, managed float, currency board, dollarization, bank exchange system. Okay, now we want to relate a bit. Actually, I already explained this. That related to BOP. Yeah, but never mind. We just so called like just learn again. Yeah. So problem. So this one is a quick one. Yeah. Example: inflation increases in the U.S. So is it this one right away? Yes, it is. So assume inflation increases in the U.S. Assume inflation in the U.S. is higher. Yeah. So as you can see, this one is very complete. Okay, it's very complete one. I mean, it's very step by step. So I think it's no issue for you to understand that. But let's go one by one. So assume that inflation in the US is higher than Malaysia. Yeah. So we need to say that you learned already. I mean, this one simple concept, one microeconomic variable only. We don't add up the complex one. Okay, it's just that we want to know if this microeconomic variable, what happens. So as you can see, US products become more expensive, then US residents will demand more Malaysian goods because they are looking for substitute goods with so-called like cheaper version because domestic goods are expensive. So that assumes that is the scenario. Yeah. So then, meaning to say that Malaysian residents, okay, lower the demand for the US. So meaning to say that US demands Malaysian goods, but Malaysian goods are not demanded by American goods are not demanded by Malaysians because since our inflation is lower, so meaning we assume that domestic goods also lower or cheaper compared to. So if you have an option to get cheaper in our home country, why you need to buy foreign goods? Am I right in this case? So we assume that is the scenario for this. Okay, that is the scenario. That's it. Thus. Okay, the second thus, if fixed exchange rate system and floating exchange rate system. So this one class, you add here slide 12. This one. Ouch. This one you put there slide 12. Slide 12. The one, you know slide 12 that we have that section, slide 12. This one slide 16, 16. Slide 12, 1, 12, 1, 2, sorry, 12, 1, 2, and then this one floating, slide 16. Then you refer back to the notes just now about contagious, that contagious. So this is the explanation for slide. Okay, for example, this one, slide 12, go back to this, slide 12. Now, this one, yeah? Okay. US residents, okay, under fixed exchange rate system. So we already explained the scenario. So now after the scenario, so what if? Okay, if Malaysia adopts fixed exchange rate system. So in this case, US residents demand Malaysian products, okay, keep on increasing, okay, because they're looking for substitute goods, that's so-called substitute goods cheaper. So since they demand our goods, so meaning that they demand also in Malaysia. Okay, so meaning that since demand is greater than supply, it will bring, remember, the pressure, the upward pressure to the Malaysian ringgit. So Malaysian ringgit, since we talk about this fix, yeah, so it will increase the Malaysian ringgit's value, yeah. So so price of Malaysian products increase. So meaning that it sorry. So in this scenario, so either it increased the ringgit Malaysia, the value of ringgit Malaysia, or since there is a demand from foreign buyers, yeah, you can interpret this. So since demand in foreign buyers, so meaning to say that it's not enough supply to keep up with those demands. Yeah, so meaning to say that because of for the goods, so they will increase the price since the demand is greater than the supply. So this is what we call that demand pull inflation. So this is the scenario that demand pull inflation that contribute that inflation in Malaysia. At first, okay, it only inflation in the US, and after that it spread to Malaysia. That's why I mentioned here is considered as the disadvantages and the fixed just now, contagious effect. Okay, so due to this so-called like demand pull inflation. Okay, since the demand cannot keep up with the supply that can be produced by the Malaysian manufacturers, so because of that, they will increase the price. Yeah, and also if number two, if Malaysian adopts the floating exchange rate system. So ouch. So this one is like 16. Okay. Slide 16, as you can see, the US demand for Malaysian goods increases. Okay, so meaning, it's quite similar. So demand, American demands for Malaysian goods. So the demand Malaysia. So Malaysia increased the value against USD. So the one is quite similar to fixed. So regardless whatever fixed exchange rate system, the situation is still the same. So up to here. I want to add this one, yeah. So this one up to here, yeah, just now, yeah, up to here. So we need to say that how we want to rate with exchange rate system. We need to say that government can intervene. Okay, government can intervene. You can add after that, after the highlight. So government can intervene since it's under fixed exchange rate system to stabilize back the inflation. Okay, but not for the second red color here, floating exchange rate system. So the scenario is still the same, so meaning that since after they keep demanding Malaysian goods to the point that demand is greater than supply, it will bring the upward pressure to Malaysian ringgit, and Malaysian ringgit appreciates against USD. And now suddenly, from American demand, okay, in order to get cheaper versions, so-called quote-unquote products, okay, compared to the currency, their own domestic goods that are quite expensive. Now suddenly our Malaysian goods become expensive from their perspective due to this exchange rate appreciation. Malaysian ringgit appreciates against Malaysian USD. Yeah, Malaysian ringgit appreciates against USD. So in this case, okay, so there is a lower pressure for prices to lower pressure for prices to Malaysian less pressure, less pressure. That's why when there's an arrow, so when they decrease pressure, okay, less pressure for prices of Malaysian products to increase. So meaning that inflation may not happen in Malaysia, meaning that it's insulated from inflation in the US. So meaning that it's not contagious. Whatever happened in the US, stay in the US, is not contagious to Malaysia. Yeah. So this one, unemployment rate more or less quite the same. It's just that I give you a different so-called like another microeconomics factor, okay, which is unemployment rate. So unemployment increases in Indonesia. So Indonesia, I think this one actually class we already explained. So I go for a quick one because I want to go for sterilized and non-sterilized after this. Yeah. So as you can see here, in Indonesia income per capita, so it will affect this spending lah, since so-called like they cannot afford. So in this case, assume that unemployment rate, yeah, higher in Indonesia, so it will affect the income. Okay, so it's hard to find a job in Indonesia. It's hard, meaning that it's hard to find the jobs so it will affect the income. So when it affects the income, it's also it will affect the spending. Yeah. So that's the thing. And then after that, what if Malaysia adopts fixed exchange rate? Okay, and if Malaysia adopts floating exchange rate system. So in this case, Malaysia demand for Malaysian goods keep decreasing because of, in this case, so-called like they cannot. The spending is lesser than before due to unemployment is quite high. Okay, they cannot so-called like the spending less consumption because of this unfavorable factor. Okay, so Malaysian manufacturers have to cut down the production. Okay, especially when this manufacturer, Malaysian manufacturer depending on the foreign goods. Okay, to their productions depending on the not so the foreign good, foreign demand. Sorry, foreign buyers. Yeah. So in this case, they have, as I mentioned just now. I mean, I already mentioned in the lecture last week, or maybe in the tutorial. Yeah. So same. I think both. Yeah. So Malaysian manufacturers with their own workers and unemployment, I mean that less production to produce. So meaning to say that either they need to downsize the productions or the business, the size of the business, or maybe eventually the workers, and eventually, as you can see, unemployment in Malaysia increased. So meaning you can see that it's contagious effect. Okay, it's not isolated to other countries. And if floating, the other way around, yeah. So it depends on the demand and supply of the currency. So same, yeah. Indonesian residents demand for Malaysian good less than before. So since they demand less Malaysian ringgit, so Malaysian ringgit will depreciate against Indonesian rupiah. Okay. So since depreciates now, since Malaysian depreciates, Indonesian appreciates. Now the currency, okay. Indonesian rupiah currency stronger or strengthened against Malaysian ringgit. So meaning to say that when they look from Malaysian perspective, Malaysian goods, so-called like Malaysian goods, looks cheaper from their perspective. So we assume that this, okay, you might question, so but during that time, unemployment, they don't have jobs. So assume that the rate to compensate the unemployment and also with this, the difference of the exchange rate, okay, can compensate each other. Yeah, so meaning to say, in this case, if it can compensate the same percentage, so meaning to say that it can attract Indonesian buyers to buy Malaysian goods. Yeah, so demand for Malaysian goods, as you can see, okay, demand for Malaysian goods increase. So less pressure for Malaysian manufacturers to cut down the productions and lay off the workers. So unemployment may not happen in Malaysia, meaning that there is no, whatever happened in Indonesia does not spread because of, you can see under floating, it will adjust based on supply and demand and market forces, okay, together with influence of the microeconomic variable, in this case unemployment rate. Yeah. Okay, so this one, if not mistaken, slide 17. Yeah, this one's slide 17. So under floating exchange rate system, so meaning that inflation can further worsen. Yeah, so this one internal factor class. Just now we talked about Indonesia and Malaysia, US and also Malaysia. We are talking about two countries. Now only one country where the problem compounded. Can you see that? It's like 17 just now. This one. This is the one. Okay. Slide. What is this? Slide 33. Okay. Slide 33 is the explanation for number 4. Yeah, number 4. Slide 17 for explanation for 33. Yeah. Okay, so assume inflation in Malaysia high, so same scenario. So you're looking for substitute goods since domestic product increases prices. Okay, that local manufacture since Local manufacturer increases their products because they're looking for cheaper prices, okay, buy or overseas products. So it's this one. Assume point number 2, local manufacturers increase their products. Assume, okay, with the assumptions that they buy the imported raw materials with higher prices than before. Sorry, wrong, sorry. Local manufacturer increase price of their products, okay? So Malaysian purchases more foreign goods, yeah? So demand for foreign currency increases, so meaning to say that supply for ringgit Malaysia, okay? So foreign currency appreciates against, this one we're talking about, okay, foreign currency increases in its value against Malaysian ringgit depreciates in its value, yeah? So now the situations contract, like a switch, yeah? So from A and then to B. So Malaysian consumers have to pay prices for foreign goods, yeah? So meaning to say that since our ringgit Malaysia, that decrease in its value, yeah. So now Malaysian consumers have to pay prices for foreign goods, including the Malaysian manufacturers. For example, they want to buy the imported raw materials. So during this time, they have to pay with higher price. Okay, in order to cover the cost of these imported raw materials, so they charge the price higher to the finished good to the Malaysian consumers. So meaning to say that in this case, inflation is already high, okay, and now the problem also compounded getting inflation higher than before. Yeah. So as you can see, Malaysian, yes, there is no N over there, so sorry. Malaysian manufacturers who import raw materials, as I mentioned, from foreign suppliers may pay higher price. So they will cover the cost to the finished goods. Okay, so the price level in Malaysia increases, so cost push inflation in this case. So inflation increased further in Malaysia. So this is what we call, first, assume inflation is higher. Now inflation is still higher in Malaysia. So the problem compounded. Yeah? Now, this one, okay, you can skip this. It's just that I want to go, because it's just a function now, okay, why they need to intervene, usually stabilize and everything, okay, monetary policies and so on. So now, direct intervention. So, the exchange rate currencies, the exchange of currencies that central bank holds as reserve for another currencies in the forex market. So actually we already talked about this since last week, lecture last week, yeah? So direct intervention, is it sleepy? Almost, right? Almost, right? Almost. Because this is repetitive, so that's why. But never mind, almost. This is a quick one. This one is very hard to understand. Sorry, it's not hard to understand. Yeah? The way is, when you sleepy, you make me rush. When I rush, it's just like I sleep. A lot of words. Because I try to rush with your moods. So don't be too obvious now. Control your sleepiness. Control. You make me rush. When you are rush, I cannot. Okay, not to say panic, just that I tend to be rushed. Okay, so alright, I think 10 minutes we're done. This one very quick one. I said because it's a quick one, yeah? Sterilize. I just want to mention sterilize and non-sterilize only. So direct intervention, okay, as you know that government use its reserve, okay, to buy and sell its currency. Yeah, as you can see, okay, speculating on the direct intervention, some forex trade attempt to determine the occurrence of intervention. Okay. Okay, this is the one, and then after that, we talk about sterilize and non-sterilize. So to weaken the currency, to strengthen the currency, I think buy right is not that hard, as you can see here. Example, this is the US, in the US, yeah. So exchange USD that it holds as a reserve for another foreign currency in the forex market by flooding the markets with the USD, the Federal Reserve, yeah, I just short form. okay, Fed, okay, Federal Reserve, puts downward pressure on the USD. Later we have another, it's quite repetitive, but with example between the currency, two currencies. Okay, to strengthen the currency. So meaning that to weaken the currency, what is the situation now? The USD increased. Okay, the USD has increased. So they want to lower down. So meaning that they have to weaken the currency. To strengthen the USD, meaning that what is the situation right now? Our current USD is USD weak. Okay, meaning that it has weakened for quite some time. So they want to strengthen the currency. So that is the motive. This one, the pink color is the motive. Yeah, the motive, meaning to say the situation for weaken. Right now, the currency is the value is too high. They want to weaken the currency, lower down the value. Number two, to strengthen, meaning that it's too weak. They want to put a bit high pressure to the currency. Okay, meaning that to strengthen, because right now it's too weak. Yeah. Okay, now we have sterilized and non-sterilized. Sterilized means that direct intervention without any adjustment on the money supply. Okay, central bank CB, central bank intervenes in the forex market without concerns about maintaining the same total money supply. So meaning that no adjustment on money supply, meaning that the circulation of the currency is not, they're not counterback with the same amount. Okay, so as long as they achieve the objective, whether to strengthen the currency or to weaken the currency. Yeah, so when, for example, they use the certain reserve, okay, to strengthen the home currency, to weaken the home currency, they don't counterback with another transaction to limit the circulations of the money supply. Yeah. For example, to strengthen the home currency, a central bank buy home currency, okay, meaning that take it back from the market and then sell foreign currency. Okay, so meaning to say that, as you can see, the circulations, the money circulations is not same as before. But this is not the objective. The objective is to strengthen and weaken without maintaining the same money supply. Yeah. So then to weaken, same thing, the opposite. They sell. Okay. Now currency is quite strong. Okay, or meaning that has increased, so they want to make it weakened. Okay, to weaken the currency, so they supply the home currency to the forex market, make it circulated, more circulated than before. So meaning to say that it can reduce the value because supply now is slightly higher than demand. Yeah. Meanwhile, this one non-sterilized, meaning that no intervention, meaning that no motive without the concern about maintaining the total same supply. Meanwhile, sterilized intervention. Okay, CB intervenes in the forex market and simultaneously, meaning that at the same time, engage in offsetting transaction in the treasury security markets to ensure that no change in the total money supply. Because when monetary authority buy and sell, so it would affect the money circulated in the market, right? So in this case, they still want to maintain that. Yeah. So to strengthen the home currency, for example, here, as you can see from here to here, it's very similar to non-sterilized intervention. This one, here and also here. Very similar to this. Very similar. Yeah, I repeat, non-sterilized up to here. Sterilized, okay, sterilized up to here, same. After the but, BUT makes the difference between sterilized and non-sterilized. One, for example, to strengthen the home currency, central bank buy home currency and sell foreign currency, meaning that buy, meaning that money already less in the market and ringgit Malaysia less in the market. And they want that, they want the same circulation in the market. So at the same time, they buy T-bills at the same amount. So first they take back our ringgit Malaysia, okay, out from the market, okay, buy. Okay, and after that they sell. They purchase, not sell. Sell is for to weaken the currency. Okay, and then central bank, okay, sell home currency. currency to weaken. Okay, terbalik ke this one? Hold on. To weaken the currency, to strengthen. It's quite strong right now. Okay, right. So this one then. So this one is just example from Madura. So okay, yeah, class. So this one is just example, so additional. And then this one, indirect intervention. So meaning to say, from direct intervention by buying and selling the currency. Okay. So you can, governments also can use indirect intervention to stabilize the currency. Okay, so factors get that included. So this one, yeah, class, all of these, the factors that we will, okay, explain again in chapter 6, together with graph. For this chapter, we only know this, okay, without the graph, yeah. So, but chapter 6, we learn this again, interest rate, inflation, income level, with how to draw the graph between the curve, demand, and supply, okay. So for this one, indirect intervention. Okay, let's straight to the factors lah. Maybe we talk. I'll give example about the interest rates. Okay, how they interpret the interest rate. Usually we talk about interest rate and inflation lah more. Yeah. So central bank may attempt to increase the local interest rate. Foreign investors may transfer funds to the country to capitalize on higher local interest rate. Remember, I already explained last time when we increase the interest. Okay, there are two possibilities. It will affect the borrowing rate, for local, and also the investment. Okay, the investment rate from the perspective of foreign buyers or foreign investors. Okay, so same thing lah for this one. Okay, so should I explain about the interest rate first? Okay, this one is fine. Hold on, yeah. Okay, I explain this one since it's not there. Okay, so for example, when this one government interventions, yeah. One of the way is to increase the so-called to increase the interest rates. Okay, meaning to say that they want to increase the demand of Malaysian ringgit. Okay, they want to increase governments. The intention here is they intervene by increasing the interest rate because they want to they want to increase the demand of the Malaysian ringgit. Why is that? Because when they eat higher interest rate, when we translate as higher interest or investment rate, so it will attract foreign buyers to invest in Malaysia. So in order to get the financial assets, the ownerships of the financial assets, so they demand ringgit Malaysia. So when they demand ringgit Malaysia, so meaning to say that they increase, the demand, it will bring the upward pressure to the currency. Okay, at the same time also it will lower the supply because since the borrowing cost, the borrowing rate is very high, so it will limit them to apply for example, the banking products, for example, loan, for example, and it will encourage Malaysians, we talk about domestic, to save due to higher interest rate on the investment. Meaning to say the outcome, foreign will demand, Malaysia less supply. So demand greater than supply, it will bring the upward pressure. And our currency will increase in its value. That's how government intervene indirectly by using interest rate to manipulate, to influence the exchange rate. Okay? So if lower the interest rate, the opposite. Yeah? So I didn't even mention this one, but already mentioned last week, so it's quite similar when we have this under the few pages, the last few pages of your slides. Okay, so this one, okay lah class, we keep repeating this on and on. So do we still need this? Not good. Okay, let me think. Okay, which one can increase demand? Already mentioned. Unemployment, I already mentioned that. Inflation also. This one repetitive. Yeah, repetitive. This one also repetitive. Okay, strong currency, it can clear high inflation and so on. Okay, so this one is fine. It's just that the combinations of direct and indirect intervention. Yeah, class, first to stimulate the US economy, as you can see, direct intervention and indirect intervention. To stimulate the economy, Federal Reserve, hello, not yet. Okay, Federal Reserve uses reserve to purchase foreign currency. Okay, and then it will eventually, as you can see, it will weaken the US dollars against the currency. So US export increases, US imports decreases, so it will bring the economic growth, okay, to the country. At the same time also, the same outcome, okay, for indirect intervention is to reduce the interest rates. Yeah, so as you can see here, okay, financing cost to firm and individual decreases, okay, because of the lower interest rate during this time. Yeah, so borrowing and spending increases in the US because it will encourage, okay, it will encourage for the local or domestic consumers to spend. The spending will increase. Yeah. And this one, inflation, this one on and on, we already mentioned. Maybe this one is something new because it's related to economic growth. But this one quite similar, I already explained to that. Okay? Okay, class, last 5 minutes. Ta-da! Quiz. After that, we can do. Okay, continue. Okay, join this. Faster, 5 minutes only. The question is very easy. Last week, only 44% accuracy, not even half. Meaning that the understanding is only 44% absorbed. So I want to test this one. Okay, you go to quizzes. If you can't find this, go to Google and then quizzes joined. Then you will see that. Okay, I will show it to you then. Okay, participants. Okay, good. Quizzes. Quiz. Join. Then join. Once you get that, okay, because since once you get, I cannot show it because my same account, and then type this 279330. So I will wait. So if I write, it might be like more than 90. Hold on until I press start now, then you start the quiz. Now I'm waiting for the rest. Mister, wait lah. Oh, you have the class. Oh, okay. You have to, you have to let me know your name. Remember? Alamak, I don't bring the paper lah. Where's the paper? Do you have the paper? Or maybe you text me? You text me? I only allow 2 students because they clash. They have to leave 30 minutes early, but not you. They clash with, they are last students. They final year students, they have to graduate, but because of the clash, so the management allows them to leave early. Faster, faster, I will wait. Another 1 minute, then we start, then we scan the QR code, then we can do. Oh, sorry, I forgot. All right, thank you. Okay, 30 seconds, then we start. I don't want to wait. Kabibala. Kabibala, what's that? What's that, Kabibala? Is it something? I don't even know. YM, slur. Banana. What's that? I am. Yep. Okay, fine. All right, Dala. Not wait anymore. Okay, start, yeah? One question for Okay. W, very good. E, very good. Okay, one minute. Then stop. Next one. Finish. Okay, I end the session in a second. Okay, clap. Okay, who is okay? Okay, okay. SY? Wait, okay. Oh, you still the same. Okay, and then the second one, I can't. The third one. Okay, the accuracy is 44. Okay, like improve by 1% compared to last week. Okay, scan the QR code, please. Then you can leave, yeah. Slide QR code. Okay, thank you very much. Oh, class. One more thing. one more thing. Next week Monday for tutorial, that tutorial on Monday tutorial. Yeah, no class, right? So do you mind if I do that on Friday next week? Seems like before. Okay? But I will announce that. I will announce that in my Microsoft team. Okay? All right. If seems like online lah, online. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Bye. Done? Already? Hold on. Let me stop first.